And welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that just can never quite seem to get it right. Now, as you probably remember, not too long ago, we did an episode on MACROVISION copy protection. And there is one other form of video copy protection that caught on to some degree that actually predates MACROVISION, but I didn't discuss it in the episode for a couple of reasons. One, I couldn't really find a good example of it, and two, I couldn't really find much information about it. So, what you're going to see here for this first part of the episode is my own findings on this. I make no guarantees that any of this is accurate, but this is what I've deduced. And the form of copy protection in question is known as stop copy. And I only have one tape with stop copy on it, and it's this one, Hey Abbott. And this is a late 70s TV special hosted by Milton Berle on Abbott and Costello. And it's, the show's really not very good. But more importantly, this tape, at least according to the label, does have stop copy. Unfortunately, I've tried everything to get the stop copy to engage on this, and I can't. I have 3 TVs and 3 VCRs. I tried every permutation, every type of TV, every type of cable hookup within reason, and I could not get the stop copy to engage. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little look at a clean transfer of this tape and then my attempts at dubbing, and you'll see that they all came up wrong. Then after that, we're going to take a look at the about 6 seconds worth of footage that I've ever found of stop copy in action. So let's take a look.
No matter how you get to Photomat, get to Photomat.
I think I can pretty safely assume that I am among the last generation to remember a little place called the Photomat. Mostly from the 70s up through perhaps the early mid-90s, the Photomat was a little kiosk found in some strip mall or regular mall parking lots. You took your camera film here to be developed, and that was more or less it. For a few years, however, in the late 70s and early 80s, Photomat made a pioneering stab at home video rental. Photomat made an agreement with Paramount Pictures and subsequently Disney to make a small handful of titles available for rental on VHS or beta at a cost of $12 for 5 days. The tapes themselves were made to order for Photomat and seemed to be a bit weak in terms of video signal, sometimes causing a loss of grip on the picture's vertical hold. Now, here's where my so-called detective work comes in. As best as I can tell, this was the studio's attempt at discouraging piracy, and though Photomat discontinued their video rental service in 1982, this mysterious stop copy technology was carried on for a few more years by a few manufacturers until the advent and implementation of MACROVISION.
Milton Berle.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. It's truly a privilege to pay homage to 2 of my closest friends. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind about Abbott and Costello is the fact that these 2 giants of the industry You know, the first thing that comes to my mind about Abbott and Costello is the fact that these 2 giants of the industry really began as a team back in 1936. Of course, at that time, I was just a baby. Really. I was nuzzling on my mother's bosom. Or at least I think it was my mother. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind about Abbott and Costello is the fact that these 2 giants of the industry really began as a team back in 1936. Of course, at that time, I was just a baby. Really. It's truly a privilege to pay homage to two of my closest friends. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind about Abbott and Costello is the fact that these two giants of the industry really began as a team. It's truly a privilege to pay homage to two of my closest friends. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind about Abbott and Costello is the fact that these two giants of the industry really began as a team back in 1936. Of course, at that time I was just a baby.
It seems to happen quite a bit when I make archive episodes that I'll spend all the time on the archive episode, try and get it as good as I can, and then I'll put it out. And within a week or so after my releasing the video, I'll find some great new part of the story, or I'll find some new offshoot of something or other. And the MACROVISION episode is no exception. Now, we've been through MACROVISION and Stop Copy, but apparently, or I should say allegedly, there was a third type of copy protection. And, are we gonna get into it here? It only appeared on this one tape as far as I know, as far as I've been able to research. And I just want to know, what kind of idiot wants copy protection on their cat sitter video? If you look on the box here, this is actually the warning screen from this particular video, and I know you probably can't read it, so it just so happens that I made a second copy. Does that make me a bad guy? Let me just read this for you here. This is a little off, and we'll pick this apart in just a bit here. The program portion of this tape has been coated with a new substance called KTC to prevent illegal copying. KTC only reacts when subjected to the magnetic head fluctuation caused by the record mode. If you have already started to record this tape, we are required by law to inform you that the KTC process may damage your VCR. KTC will not affect your VCR in the play mode. The tape coated with KTC does not begin for another 15 seconds. Stop recording now. Thank you for purchasing this video. Enjoy the show. Yeah, there's a little flaw in that logic. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that this tape really is coated with some sort of strange oxide. And first off, it would be a bit of a production hassle and a definite cost factor to only coat part of this tape in this mysterious substance. And that could probably damage the dupe house's equipment if you tried to do something like that. But what's even worse is they don't seem to quite understand how copying a video works. Now, I don't advocate copying videos at all, but it is a piece of kind of obsolete, off-the-wall technology, and it interests me. So let's just say, as I said, that this really is coated in this mysterious oxide. Okay, so I've got two VCRs hooked up. I have this in VCR number 1 and a blank tape in VCR number 2, and I hit record on VCR number 2. How is the first VCR gonna know that the other one's recording? So they kind of screwed themselves over on this one. Now, of course, I believe in due diligence, but this is gonna be a bit of a stretch. Let's try and dupe this sucker and see if my VCR bursts into flames. Okay, so apologies for what I know is not going to be a very pretty shot, pretty setup, but the name of the game here is practicality and just what works. So there you go. And it's raining outside to boot, so you might hear a little of that seep in as well. But this is the TV we will be monitoring on, and if I pan down, you can see the orange light from my SVHS deck. This will be VCR number 1, which will be getting the original Cat Sitter tape. And if we pan up, you can see the red and green lights for number 2, and that will be the dub deck. So let's get actually back down to number 1 here. Original cat sitter tape, which probably won't even show up in the shot. And I had a little room left over on the MACROVISION experiment tape, so this will be number 2. But anyway, I'm going to pop this into number 1. It should get started right away. And then pan up to number 2. Back to the TV. And let's start recording.
The program portion of this tape has been coated with a new substance called KTC to prevent illegal copying. KTC only reacts when subjected to the magnetic head fluctuation caused by the record mode. If you have already started to record this tape, we are required by law to inform you that the KTC process may damage your VCR. KTC will not affect your VCR in the play mode. The tape coated with KTC does not begin for another 15 seconds. Stop recording now. Thank you for purchasing this video. Enjoy the show.
I guess John Machida wasn't available. Oh, doesn't that sound beautiful? Okay, so my one of my decks should be bursting into flames any second here. I just don't foresee it happening, though. It's a little poppy, but this tape was really dusty.
This video was tested by having numerous cats view the footage and give us their approval.
That's some prime sound quality, isn't it?
That will entertain and delight your feline friends. We suggest you play this for your cats at a time when they are alone or distracted.
Okay, I think I'm going to call this experiment done.
But indoor cats sometimes become instant couch potatoes.
Okay, one last step. Here is the tape that we just dubbed. I haven't rewound it or anything quite yet. Nothing's burst into flames. If I pan up, that VCR is okay, as is that VCR. So let's pop number 1 in. Rewind it a little. And play. Will anything happen? Nope. It's a little shaky, but it's...
This video was tested by having numerous cats.
Nothing bad's happening.
Their approval. The final edit consists of natural sights and sounds.
Let's try this in the other one. So pan on up to number 2. We'll give it just a touch of rewind. And play. Will anything happen? Well, I will give him this much. The vertical, or actually horizontal, is a little off, but nothing bad's happened, really. Let's fast forward a little.
That will entertain and delight your feline friends. We suggest you play this for your cats at a time
Okay,
when they're
well,
alone or distracted.
the horizontal's a little off, but I don't think your cat will mind. Okay, so let's do just one last test here for total peace of mind. Let's take a look at... I've got the Hey Abbott tape handy, the original. Let's see if it's caused anything to go crazy with either of my VCRs. So let us start with VCR number 1. It should start automatically. Although, granted, it might take a few seconds to catch up because I rewound it. And of course, the SVHS deck does not have tracking control. It's all automatic, hence the flashing video calibration thing. But let's see what happens here. Nope. Good and stable. Let's see what happens when we get a little sound going here. Nope, sounds stable. Okay, so I'm calling that one good. Let's get this bad boy out of here. Pan up. VCR number 2. Let's try it. Let's see if anything has gone crazy with this one. It should play automatically. Nope, picture's pretty good and solid. Sounds good. Sounds a lot better than the last tape. Yeah, I'm calling BS on this one.
This video was tested by having numerous cats view the footage and give us their approval. The final edit consists of natural sights and sounds that will entertain and delight your feline friends. We suggest you play this for your cats at a time when they are alone or distractions are at a minimum.
Well, my VCR didn't burst into flames or anything. I'm kind of disappointed. Anyway, before we end things today, let me just say here, normally when I do Oddity Archive, I like to do things that legitimately interest me, and things that I think are significant. And while there is a certain fascination with the alleged copy protection on our now infamous cat sitter tape, normally I wouldn't give this the time of day, because this really kind of ticked me off. I mean, it shows that they really think you're a complete idiot, and it also shows that they really honestly believe that there's a big black market for cat sitter tapes. So, yeah, I have 2 words for this company, which I'm not even going to name, and I'm too much of a gentleman to say them, so there you go. And indeed, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I take another tape, coat it in peanut butter, and see if I can get that to cause my VCR to burst into flames.
The program portion of this tape has been coated with a new substance called KTC to prevent illegal copying. KTC only reacts when subjected to the magnetic head fluctuation caused by the record mode. If you have already started to record this tape, we are required by law to inform you that the KTC process may damage your VCR. KTC will not affect your VCR in the play mode. The tape coated with KTC does not begin for another 15 seconds. Stop recording now. Thank you for purchasing this video. Enjoy the show.